I'm Adrian Seet, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Batang landslide, 3 more bodies found, bringing death toll to 24. And police to record statement from campsite manager. Thanks for joining us. The body of a girl is the latest victim to be found following the landslide at the father's organic farm campsite in Batang, Selangor. The latest discovery brings the death toll to 24, while 9 people are still missing. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani said the body of a girl was discovered on Saturday evening at 4:05 p.m. in the Hillview Search Area, Sector A. He said the girl, whose age has yet to be determined, was sent to the Sungai Buloh Hospital for post-mortem.
Dan Tina itu perempuan.
Ditemui kat mana dah sih?
Sektor A, Sektor A. Yang mustahak sekarang ni kita sedang berusaha untuk pasti mangsa-mangsa tersebut, identiti mereka.
Earlier on Saturday, the bodies of a woman believed to be in her 30s and a young boy were discovered in the Hillview Search Area at 1:02 p.m. The 2 victims were found buried at the depth of about 1 meter and were at a distance of 800 meters from the bodies found on Friday night. Authorities believed the pair could be a mother and her son based on the location of the bodies, which were discovered next to each other. Selangor Fire and Rescue Department Director Datuk Norazam Khamis said so far 7 children were confirmed dead in the landslide tragedy.
Kita telah membuka satu kawasan hotspot untuk kita fokuskan untuk mencari 10 mangsa berdasarkan kepada kedudukan kemah yang kita dapatlah melalui sumber bahawa kedudukan kemah itu berbentuk dalam satu barisan dan kita percaya bahawa sebab pergerakan tanah itu dia telah terbagi kepada 2, ke kanan dan ke kiri. Dan kebanyakannya yang kita jumpa sekarang ni adalah di sektor A yang arah aliran tanah itu menghadap ke kiri. Dan sekarang tumpuan kita kepada arah sebelah kanan.
As of Saturday evening, the search and rescue team had deployed a 5th excavator, in addition to other machinery which had been brought in earlier to aid efforts to comb through the earth. In the incident early on Friday morning, the landslide struck the father's organic farm in Batang at around 2 a.m., pushing 450,000 cubic meters of earth down towards campsites below. More than 90 people were believed to be at the camping grounds at the time. Earlier at a press conference on Saturday morning, Datuk Norazam said the chances of finding more survivors from the Batang landslide are very slim at best, considering the landslide factors and the timeline of the incident, which has entered the 2nd day. Nevertheless, Datuk Norazam said the search would continue and the SAR team would employ the use of heavy machinery or excavators to remove soil and large trees which had fallen due to the landslide to aid efforts to locate victims.
Kalau secara kasarnya peluang itu agak sangat tipis lah. Memang kata orang tu 99.99 itulah kan. Sebab dah masuk hari kedua dan ditimbus dengan tanah, of course lah oksigen tak dapat dan badan dibebankan dengan timbunan tanah menyebabkan boleh berlaku sesak nafas dan sebagainya. Tapi berdasarkan kepada keadaan.
However, he said if they are stuck in between trees and rocks where there are openings, there may be a chance of the victim being safe if there is enough space and air. The SAR operations on Saturday included more than 150 personnel from various agencies, including the police, the Civil Defence Force, and the Special Malaysia Disaster Assistance and Rescue Team, or SMART. The operations on Saturday morning resumed at 8:30 a.m. Selangor Criminal Investigations Department CID Chief, Senior Assistant Commissioner Baharudin Mat Taib, has been ordered to lead the investigation into the landslide incident. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani said while the priority of authorities at the moment is on the SAR operations to locate the remaining victims at the site, comprehensive investigations connected to the landslide will still be conducted. Commenting on the manager of the father's organic farm, who was called up to assist investigations connected to the landslide, the IGP said the man has yet to come forward.
Kami tengah menunggu sepatutnya petang ini, tapi dia dikatakan masih dalam perjalanan di IPD. Jadi kita tunggu dululah. Buat sementara waktu ini seperti mana yang tempoh hari kita dah setuju, buat sementara waktu ini sehingga semua mangsa dapat kita jumpai, kita akan pupuk usaha kita ke situ.
Earlier, Hulu Selangor OCPD Superintendent Sufyan Abdullah was reported to have said that the manager of the campsite, a 30-year-old male, had been called in to have his statement recorded on Saturday. On Friday, the local government development minister Nga Kaw Ming said that checks with the Hulu Selangor Municipal Council MPHS revealed the operator did not have a valid license to operate a campsite and only had a license to operate an organic farm. Meanwhile, MPHS has issued 25 temporary closure notices to campsites in the municipality that are at risk of being hit by disasters. Its president, Muhammad Hasri Nur Muhammad, said the action followed local government development minister Nga Kaw Ming's order on Friday for all campsites near rivers and in high-risk areas nationwide to be closed for 7 days with immediate effect.
Berdasarkan arahan yang dikeluarkan oleh Yang Berhormat Menteri KPKT semalam, Majlis Pemerintah Hulu Selangor telah mengeluarkan notis kepada 25 kawasan tapak perkhemahan yang berisiko di tepi sungai dan di kawasan cerut di kawasan sekitar Hulu Selangor.
So dalam 25 ni semuanya berlesen ataupun tak?
Okey, untuk yang di Hulu Selangor kebanyakannya ada yang tidak berlesen.
Muhammad Hasri added that MPHS are also conducting a whitening process and have directed all homestay operators to get the necessary licenses. Earlier, the Raja Muda of Selangor, Tengku Amir Shah Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, inspected the SAR operation for the missing victims. Tengku Amir Shah arrived at the site at 10:20 a.m., accompanied by Engku Orang Kaya Maha Bijaya Hulu Selangor, Raja Datuk Muzaffar Raja Redzwa and Selangor Police Chief Dato' Arjunaidi Muhammad. He spent about 40 minutes at the scene and was briefed about the SAR operation by Dato' Arjunaidi as well as the State Fire and Rescue Department Director Dato' Nur Azam Khamis at the command centre. The authorities have released the identities of 6 of the 24 victims who died in the Batang Kali campsite tragedy. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, said the 6, 5 women and a child, were positively identified by their next of kin or through fingerprints. The first 5 victims, all female adults, were identified as Lim Wei Zin, Hong Mei Jing, Nurul Azmani, Lai Li Yin and Lai Li Ku. The child, identified as Tong Kai, was a 9-year-old boy. Post-mortem and other body identification processes involving the remaining victims are still underway. Hulu Selangor District Police Chief Superintendent Sufyan Abdullah said all the victims who died were found without any identification documents with them. Meanwhile, 4 victims were currently receiving treatment at the Selayang Hospital and 1 victim was receiving treatment at the Kuala Lumpur Hospital. Another 3 victims who received treatment at the Kuala Kubu Baru Hospital were allowed to return home on Friday. In the meantime, the Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Ministry is awaiting a detailed study and investigation report on the deadly landslide, after which it will be brought to the Cabinet for further action. Its Minister, Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, said the ministry is expected to receive the report soon. He said an initial inspection at the location on Friday found that there had been no rain in the area for the past few days. But despite that, when the landslide occurred, water was gushing. However, he said that it was too early to form any speculation as a detailed study is still ongoing. On whether a lack of sufficient laws were amongst the contributing factors behind similar incidences nationwide, Nik Nazmi said the matter would be addressed comprehensively. He said the ministry would take a holistic approach and look into all possible aspects, as the matter is not just restricted to the incident in Batang Kali alone. The Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, has predicted continuous heavy rain for Kelantan and Terengganu from Saturday until next Tuesday. The severe weather warning involves 9 areas in Kelantan and 6 in Terengganu. In Kelantan, a severe weather warning was issued for Tumpat, Pasir Mas, Kota Baru, Jeli, Tanah Merah, Bacho, Machang, Pasir Putih and Kuala Kerai. While in Terengganu, the areas affected are Besut, Setiu, Kuala Nerus, Hulu Terengganu, Kuala Terengganu and Marang. A severe warning is issued when continuous heavy rain is expected to occur, with the amount of rainfall exceeding 60 millimeters in a period of 6 hours. In the meantime, continuous heavy rain is also expected to occur in Perlis, Kedah and Pulau Pinang from Saturday until Tuesday. A similar alert was also issued for Perak involving Kerian, Larut, Matang and Selama, Hulu Perak and Kuala Kangsar, as well as Gua Musang in Kelantan. The same weather condition is also expected to occur in Terengganu, involving Dungun and Kemaman, in Pahang involving Cameron Highlands, Lipis, Jerantut, Maran, Kuantan, Pekan and Rompin, as well as in Johor involving Segamat, Kluang, Mersing, Kulai, Kota Tinggi and Johor Bahru. Meanwhile, according to the Department of Irrigation and Drainage Flood Forecast Model, several areas in Pahang are expected to be hit by floods on Saturday night or earlier. In a statement, the department said the areas expected to be flooded from 8 p.m. on Sunday are Kampung Beralas, Kampung Gading, Jeram Bungur and surrounding areas, and Kampung Merting, Kuala Tahan and its immediate vicinities. Coming up next, China to suffer over 1 million COVID-19 deaths next year. Stay tuned. Welcome back. China's abrupt lifting of stringent COVID-19 restrictions could result in an explosion of cases and over 1 million deaths through 2023. According to new projections from the US-based Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, cases in China would peak around April 1st, when deaths would reach 322,000, where about a third of China's population will have been infected by then. China's National Health Authority, however, has not reported any official COVID-19 deaths since the lifting of their COVID-19 restrictions. The last official deaths were reported on December the 3rd, and the total pandemic fatalities in the country stands at 5,235. Lawmakers investigating last year's attack on the U.S. Capitol will vote on Monday on whether to recommend criminal charges against former President Donald Trump on at least 3 counts, including insurrection. Other than insurrection, the panel would also recommend Trump be charged with obstructing an official proceeding and conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government. It was reported that the full House committee will hold its last meeting at 1 p.m. on Monday and release its final report 2 days later. The committee itself cannot file charges, but can make recommendations to the Justice Department, which has appointed a special counsel to look into Trump's role in the Capitol riot and his efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election won by Democrat Joe Biden. Trump, who announced plans to run for president again in 2024, was subpoenaed by the House committee but declined to testify. Still in the U.S., at least 2 people were killed while 2 others were wounded in a shooting near a high school on Chicago's west side. According to authorities, the 2 deceased victims were male students who were each shot in the head. One was 14 years old and the other was 15. The 2 wounded victims, who were shot in the thigh and shoulder, meanwhile, suffered non-life-threatening injuries. It was believed that all victims were shot outside the school at about 1:50 p.m. local time before police and paramedics responded to the incident shortly before 3 p.m. Police have not disclosed what led to the shooting, but said no suspects have been detained and investigations are currently underway.
merupakan penyakit
We're back with sports, football. Croatia and Morocco made several changes to their starting lineups for the World Cup third-place playoff at Khalifa International Stadium that is currently ongoing, with both coaches giving opportunities to players benched during the tournament. Morocco will be without skipper Roman Saiz, who lasted only 21 minutes in the semi-final defeat by France before he was substituted, with head coach Walid Regragui saying it was a risk worth taking at the time, but not for the playoff. In defence, Ashraf Hakimi and Jawad El Yamik retained their place, with Ashraf Dari and Yahya Atiyat Allah coming in for the injured Saiz and Nayef Agued. Meanwhile, Croatia's skipper Luka Modric is expected to start in midfield alongside Mateo Kovacic, while Marcelo Brozovic will sit out with Lovro Majer coming in. Marko Divaja and Mislav Orsic start in attack. Still on football, Central Coast Mariners came from a goal down to defeat Sydney FC 2-1 at Industry Group Stadium on Saturday. Sydney took the lead through an early goal from Paulo Ritri, but 2 goals in 4 minutes from Marco Tulio and Danny Hall on the brink of half-time was enough to wrestle back the ascendancy and give the Mariners their first win in 3 matches. Mariners now move to 4th in the standings on 10 points, ahead of Wellington Phoenix on goal difference. For Sydney, it is their 3rd loss in 4 matches, and they are in the 8th place on 10 points. In another match, Wellington Phoenix beat Adelaide United 3-1 at home on Saturday to move up to 4th in the standings. The result also meant Phoenix ended their 4-game winless run against Adelaide. Phoenix, meanwhile, are on 10 points, 2 behind 3rd place, Adelaide. Amendments on flexible working hours to be implemented soon. This and more after this short break. Cooperation agreement signed by 5 political entities to formalize the establishment of the unity government is a long-term initiative to ensure political stability. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the government needed to urgently focus on economic matters to prepare for challenges next year when the world economy is forecasted to slow down. In a post on his Facebook page, he said the World Bank had predicted that aggressive interest rate hikes to be adopted by several countries would cause demand to shrink and lead to a global economic downturn next year. Thus, he pointed out that the unity government's focus on tackling various challenges in economic and financial management should take priority over constant politicking. On Friday, Pakatan Harapan PH, Barisan Nasional BN, Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS, Gabungan Rakyat Sabah GRS and Parti Warisan signed the cooperation agreement in Putrajaya to form the unity government. It was signed by the Secretaries General of the parties concerned, Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution of PH, Datuk Sri Zamri Abdul Kadir of BN, Datuk Masidi Manjun of GRS, Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi of GPS and Datuk Loretta Padua Jr. of Warisan, witnessed by their respective chairmen. In the meantime, Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, stated that the rural concept must have a more dynamic meaning. This in accordance with the changing times and development, as the new meaning would determine its development process for the future. In a post on his Facebook page, the minister said the commitment to deliver rural progress is driven by four main imperatives, namely data and digital, economy, social and character, and access and environment. He added that various efforts will be taken to ensure that the rejuvenation and social engineering efforts will be abundant and enjoyed by the rural community as best as possible. Amendments to the Employment Act 1955 regarding flexible working arrangements are amongst the matters that will be implemented soon. According to Human Resource Minister V. Sivakumar, the amendments also included several other measures which were being planned by the ministry. He stated that his ministry is collecting feedback from all related agencies in order to understand the roles and functions of every department better. Meanwhile, the Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public and Civil Services, QPACS, reiterated its call to the government to raise the minimum wage of civil servants from 1,200 ringgit to 1,800 ringgit. Its president, Dato' Adnan Mat, said the proposal was put forward 3 years ago, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the change of the government, it has not been studied completely. The Works Ministry on Saturday has dismissed a viral video clip alleging that a landslide had occurred at Jalan Bukit Miku Negeri Sembilan as fake news. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi, said it was an old video of an incident that had occurred on the slope along Jalan Tampin Kuala Pilah, Manchis route. In a post on his social media, he said the Works Department had taken swift action to close the affected road to traffic on December the 1st for the safety of motorists and to enable a thorough investigation to be carried out. He pointed out that an alternative route has been provided, namely Jalan Ulu Keru Air Mawang, for those heading to Tampin or Kuala Pilah. Datuk Sri Nanta also said the repair works would start in January and thanked road users for their concern. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at the 24th Harbin Ice Snow World in China's Heilongjiang province, the world's leading theme parks featuring large-scale ice and snow sculptures. Now covering 810,000 square meters, it contains 100 snow tourist attractions with 8 entertainment venues free of charge this year. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.